Grab you a cup of coffee, and today we are going to be talking about how to take your child's passion for textile arts or fabric, sewing, costuming, and how you can actually turn those into high school elective credits and help set them up for a path for a career or college later. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for today. I'm really excited about this one because textile arts is actually one of my passions. If I had not gone down the path that I did go down, and if I had known about this when I was in high school, I possibly would have taken this path, but also I know this path probably would have led me not, with my husband and the kids that I have. So I'm glad that I didn't, but also if I had ever chosen a college or a career path, I probably would have done this one because I'm really passionate about some of the things we're going to be talking about in this class. I really want to just get to it, and we're going to be talking about those. So right here, you already see the title. We're going to be calling it textile art classes. And then right here, we just simply have fashion. It's early, guys. Fashion, costuming, clothing design, also known as the textile arts. So if you're new to these videos and you have not seen any of our other series of elective classes that are available to high school homeschool students, hi, my name's Alicia. I've been homeschooling for 15 years and an independent homeschool counselor, not under any business at this time, for 10 years. One of my passions is to teach people how to take things that their kids are passionate about and turn those into classes that they can enjoy taking while they're homeschooling through high school. Math is hard enough. Science is hard enough. History for some students is hard enough. Let's have fun with some of these elective classes and choose some that they may choose to go on further for any education, apprenticeship, or career later in life. The way that we do these videos is I'm going to teach you how to do it with the class name that you can put in to whoever you have to report your homeschooling to. The study gives you a breakdown of what the class is included with it, and if you're starting from scratch, how to break it down year by year. If you just need one or two classes from this video, that is totally okay. Just watch to the end and then let me know what is helpful from these videos for you guys so that whenever we get back from our upcoming graduation trip, anniversary trip, Sweet 16, 14th birthday, all those things that we're doing, then I could help you guys make more videos on these topics. Spoiler, when we get back from this trip, I am looking at doing a graphic arts class if you're interested in that. But for today, we're going to start with year one. And the first class that you really want to look at for fashion, costuming, clothing, textile arts is just the basic home ec sewing. Now, like I had talked about in all the other classes, your child, if you're looking at anything that's art, music, hands-on work, they need to have a foundation. They need to have a foundation to be built upon. Now, if you've already done, you're further down and you need some other... Sorry, my neighbor's rooster just startled me. He's actually been coming up to our bird feeder for wild birds. It's been crazy, and he just startled me because he's right outside the window. And we already have our air conditioner up. Not that I need it right now, but we already have our air conditioner up, so now I can hear lots of things outside. Even if your student knows what they're doing, it doesn't hurt to start back if they're starting from freshman year on those foundational classes. Home ec sewing is such a great foundational class. You can make sure that your child knows how to do basic stitches, how to put buttons on, how to do mending. You could give them a mending project that they could work on. There are so many great DIY sewing kits. You've seen those in our travel videos before. One of mine loves, when we do road trips, doing sewing kits as her hands-on thing that she does while we're driving. So little things like that could work. And again, for this class, if you need bookwork, you can find all kinds of how to sew books that you can use. And then for you as a parent, for what you need for your final for your student, just have them finish a specific sewing pattern. Some people, what they do for this class, I know from, I've taken sewing classes before, the final project was they had to make a square pillow and a circle pillow because that teaches them how to do both techniques on a sewing machine, and they had to know how to hand stitch the pillow closed once they had flipped the fabric and had already stuffed it. So that included both sewing machine techniques and hand sewing techniques. And for like, if you wanted to do a square pillow and you have a serger like we do, then it also can teach you serger safety, which be careful because those things can be dangerous. Like, I usually don't let my kids do that, but like you could supervise that with the cutting blade off if you wanted to teach your kids how to use it if you already had one of those at home. That's not a necessity. That's just what we have because we used to make a lot of our clothing from scratch. So year 2, and we actually did make some for our upcoming trip. Year 2, now that you have your foundation, there is a new class that's been added to homeschooling, and it's called Art Textiles. And one of my kids is one of my teens that's fixing to graduate is so upset because this was not available her freshman year. And if it had been, she would have went through this entire electives track because she's so frustrated with this class, with like the fact that this class is now available and she didn't get to take it. But she's also really happy for other homeschooling students that now they can take things that they're passionate about and turn them into credits, because life is hard enough for teenagers. All right, art textiles, you're going to advance to more complicated techniques. Now here is where you could go under you could go under like art classes in your area, like Embroiderers Guild of America. I think I'll talk about this later. Yes, I do. Embroiderers Guild of America is an option. You could look at doing like buying cross-stitch books, embroidery books. We also have an embroidery machine. That's an option for some people, but you're looking at more than just basic, okay, this is how you sew a button on. You're looking for those advanced techniques that they need for hand sewing, machine, or maybe like for you, home ec sewing, the first year is all hand sewing, and then the second year is learning how to use sewing machines and things like that. This is the first time I have done this. I am actually putting for the next class a possible summer credit here because some of these classes I feel could be plugged in much earlier. And then later we're going to talk about more options for the summer classes. But right here, what you can do between 10th and 11th grade year is you could do the art drawing class or art computer graphics. Now, I already know you guys. Why are we doing drawing? We're doing textile arts. Let me explain. So, art drawing, you would spend a summer learning to sketch designs, or you can also learn how to upsize or downscale patterns. That is such an important tool for if you want to do anything with clothing and costume design later on, because there are times that I will take my kids to thrift stores when we're on a tighter budget and I need to dress them for an event, a trip, whatever. I will let them buy something and then I will immediately bring it home and I will downsize it and I will edit it, or one time for our upcoming trip, a little bit of spoiler, we needed like some sashes, like some fabric belts for it. We found some shirts that the kids were getting rid of that people had given them that were too thin or had holes in them. So we cut them up to make sashes. That's another thing that you could do. That is what you're going to be spending your summer doing, is like doing that. Or alternatively, you could also do computer graphics and learn how to make clothing designs on a computer, tablet, iPad, whatever. This is where you're taking, okay, I know how to do this. Now, how do I sketch out designs made from scratch or things that I have in my head of ideas, that rooster, and how do I turn those into on the computer? Because so often they do that nowadays. And if your child's actually looking at going into costuming or clothing design, that's a life skill. My understanding is that's a life skill that they're going to need. Year 3, I'm going to have to go back to another thing on my computer for a minute and look at something. But for now, we're going to put year 3. We are simply going to do art appreciation. The other alternative class that you could do with this, if you don't want to do art appreciation, is a specialty history class with emphasis on clothing history. So let's start with the art side first, and then we'll move over to the history side. Now, I'm going to just copy and paste all of this and put it in, because this is exactly what we covered last week when we were talking about just art. Like we were like art sketching, art painting, art drawing, art pottery, anything that was not like a fabric art or a computer art. Exact same concept here. With the art class, you're simply going to cover forms, techniques, history, analysis, learning how to decide what time frame it's from, how to tell different techniques from another, Transformation through history, how art has changed from the first art that we have available in museums today. And then we're also going to talk about how an artist's specific expression has helped to change that art over the years and how it can change from artist to artist as well. Then for art history, again, we're going to do the same as last week, but this week we are focusing on clothing. We're going to focus on fabric, woven arts. So some specific history classes that you could do if you don't want to do the art appreciation class is you could focus on Bible history with an emphasis on clothing that was worn in Bible times. There are so many textile arts that you could cover in Bible history. You could cover the things that are talked about heavily with the temple. You could do a study on Lydia and where it talks about that she was a seller of purple. What does that mean? What did it look like? What would it have been like to do that in Bible times? And then you can move on to ancient history. Ancient history is another fun one that you could do because you could talk about like dyes that we no longer use because they had lethal ingredients in them. You could talk about findings that they have found in recent years from those ancient times of pieces of cloth that they have found. European history is an emphasis on just history through the history of Europe only. Medieval history, we're going to be talking about like the time frame. Usually the time frame they cover is from the fall of the Roman Empire to the 1600s. Renaissance history is like 16 to 1800s. And then cultural studies, you could look at how people today still wear different styles based on where they're from. I told my kids one time that I want to move to Africa for like a month in their winter because it's hot there in their summer, and I'm not quite used to that kind of heat because it's different heat living in a temperate rainforest like we do. I would love to move to Africa for like 1 month and like go and buy fabric because they buy fabric and then they have outfits custom made for them and for their whole family based on that fabric that you buy. And like, I think that would be really cool and an easier way to dress my family than trying to go to a store and be like, oh, look, this size 10 jean is not the same as this size 10 jean. It's so frustrating dressing teen girls, guys. It really is. So you have all your foundational classes up here. Then you have some possible summer credits. And then that year 3, this is my fun one right here because I love talking about history and then plugging in other classes with it as well. So then once you move on, you're on year 4. I think I'm on the right line. And you're going to be doing the class we've talked about so many times because I love that they've added this class. Intern and Apprentice. So this is the one that I kind of gave a spoiler to earlier. You're going to be spending a whole summer working with someone who makes textiles or take classes on advanced clothing making if it's available in your area. Like I said, Embroiderers Guild of America, they're everywhere. Like there's a chapter here in Knoxville. So like they're everywhere. You could find those. You could find advanced sewing technique videos on YouTube. With Intern Apprentice, they prefer you not use YouTube. They prefer you're actually going to like a physical person and taking in-person classes. And to do Intern Apprentice for an entire school year, not a summer class. If you want to do a summer class, it's less, but like a winter and spring semesters, you would do 150 hours. So let's talk about some alternative classes that you can also do with this, especially if your child's looking at beyond high school, wanting to work with those fiber arts. The first one is work experience. This one is really simple. It's 150 hours. Now, some places, because of safety, and I'm okay with this because sewing machines can be scary. I have run over my fingers multiple times. I put a needle through one of my fingers before. I have a serger. It scares me every time I use it. It's a great tool though. Some of these places, like if your teen's not 18, they may not let them do this. But there are places that will hire you to go and help make fiber art items like custom curtains or like you could work with somebody who does alterations on wedding dresses and prom dresses. Of course, they're not going to let a high school student alter a wedding dress for somebody, but they might let you work under them and help them in their shop and teach them that it's more than just making pretty things. There's behind the scenes things that you want to do, which, speaking of which, the next thing on here is entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship, again, is a class where you are covering both the pros and cons of starting your own business versus working a salary or hourly job at an established business. So your teen wants to work for themselves doing costuming, alterations. They want to help like get those brides ready for their special day, or they want to help alter prom dresses for teen girls. Don't know why they would want to willingly choose that, but some people are great with that. Because I could not, but that's just me. But like entrepreneurship instead, you're going to be talking about, it's more than just making the pretty things. There's paperwork, there's behind the scenes things that you don't know about. So if you like really want to know those topics down with your student, you could cover entrepreneurship. And that is it for today's video. This is a class track that, as you can see, I'm really excited about. I'm so glad that they added this. My oldest is really upset because she really would have done this if it had been added before now, but it is in there now, and some people are going to say, well, it's been there before. For us, it was not available until this year. It's a super fun class track because you can take, again, things that your child's passionate about. My child loves sewing. She used to love sketching and painting more, but she's found that she really loves sewing and making little creatures and things, and she loves doing that, especially when we're traveling. And now I could have given her school credit for that. But if that's where your child is, then this class track would be great for you. If not, you could just pick some things out, take it, create it, take these ideas and turn them into custom classes for your student so that they can enjoy their high school experience and also maybe possibly give you and your teens something to do together. But that is it for today's video. Thank you to all of our members for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos and keeping them free for you guys. And thank you also because liking, watching, positive comments, and subscribing also help us to keep this video series free. And we will see you guys next time.